It's Martini time. Welcome to my 5 o'clock evening show. I'm a little early tonight because I'm in the back foyer and we have some dinner guests coming, and I didn't want them to walk in and disturb the show. So anyway, this is going to be a happy hour show when you can fix yourself a drink, glass of wine, and we can look at the day and see what insights we discovered on Facebook. I know I discover a lot of insights. I spend the whole day writing about what the insights I see. So I thought, I would share my best insights during the day, and we can have a discussion on that in the evening and try and find a little lighter perspective on the world and see it through the eyes of Zen, which is what I do. I have some Zen glasses, and I put up there. And I also see everything mythologically, too. So I'm here in my back foyer where, as you can see, I have one shelf of Martini glasses, and there's another shelf over here, and I have some more upstairs. My uncle, who is the original Martini priest, left me his 500 glass collection and ordained me as the next Martini priest. And I know he was a Martini priest because as a priest, he took the Eucharist on the road. So wherever he went, he was able to serve Mass. And let me show you what I mean. So here was the portable altar. As you can see, there's 2 glasses of shaker, a bottle of gin, and some vermouth. There we go. And when he created that, it was after 9/11, and he was so excited about it. I think he found the violin case in the flea market, and he cut it out to make the Martini altar with the 2 little chalices. And so he went to the airport, had to go to the airport, and he knew, because they were looking in all the cars, that they were going to look in his car, see a violin case and say, wait a minute, what's in there? And he would open it up and they would go, it's a Martini thing. Well, they didn't look in the trunk, and he got so mad he called up the newspaper to report the airport. And the airport didn't care about that. The newspaper didn't care about that, but it went over to his house and did a story on his Martini glass collection. So he had a big feature story in the Tampa newspaper. So he was happy. But anyway, my uncle came to live with us for the last couple of years of his life. And every day at 5 o'clock, I would bring his Martini. And I knew it was the Eucharist because when I would bring it to him, he would say, "Oh, thank you, Jesus." And I learned how to make a dry Martini with gin. And he preferred it as a fundamentalist with a lemon twist, but I'm a little more liberal, so I have an olive in it. I wanted a little nutrition. So anyway, here is my my Martini for tonight, and as you'll see, this was the, if he was looking for the Holy Grail, when he bought this, when he found it, I think he paid about $300 for this Martini glass. So each night I'll have a different glass since I've got so many of them. Now the ones you can see up here I've been giving away. The good ones are over here. So I've kept the really best ones, and I'm giving away these, and it's so neat because people will come in, maybe for photography or but people that I make a connection with. I just don't give it to anybody off the street. It's just people that come in and I make a connection and say, "Oh, let me show you what my uncle left me," and I bring them here, and they look at the glasses. "Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so great," and everything. "Oh my goodness!" And then I say, "Well, pick one." "Oh," and they go, "Me? You want me to pick one?" And what's interesting, if there's a couple, married couple, the wife, the woman, will usually make a connection and pick one, and the man will stand there, kind of like in Hurt Locker with the cereal shelves. He just can't make a choice, and his good wife will say, "Well, honey, how about this one? Would that be?" And he'll, "Oh, thank you. That's just the one I wanted." So that relieves him of the choice, you see. So it's really funny to see how people react. And also, See, when they come in and they start looking, and I'll say, did you see Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade? And they'll say, most people saw that. And I say, well, you know that he was looking for the Holy Grail, and one of these is the Holy Grail. So choose wisely. And that really freaks them out, you know. And so when they leave here, I say, I know that's a good choice. You have the Holy Grail. So I think what really has turned me on to this, I'm not really an alcoholic, but it's a metaphor. See, my uncle treated a martini like it was something sacred. And I just think he saw the joy in it and the sharing of it. And maybe he was an alcoholic, but at least he was a martini alcoholic. And but there was a metaphor in it because he had a joy of life, and he always, his inner child was always laughing and having a great time, and he was and he transmitted that joy and that love of life, you see. And so the martini glass, the martini, always became kind of symbolic of that. And also, it is, you know, it's kind of like he was looking for the Holy Grail in his life. And I think that the martini glass symbolizes that, like, somewhere out there, there's the perfect martini glass. There's a Holy Grail, and maybe this is it, and he gets it. No, that's not it. You know. So it was like he was a knight in the Arthurian romances in the quest for the Holy Grail. In the same way of Indiana Jones, because the Holy Grail, as you remember in Indiana Jones, heals you when you drink from it. But you can't use it for selfish reasons, okay? So the Holy Grail is a metaphor, and why I call my uncle and myself now as his successor, as the Martini priest, is that the Eucharist is a metaphor too, in the sense that it's like alchemy. Now, I don't want to get on, step on any religious toes and say this is the Eucharist. It's not the Eucharist in this, but it's a metaphor for the alchemy of the original idea of the Eucharist or the Mass. In the traditional Catholic understanding of the Mass, it is a magical event. It is alchemy. You take bread and wine, and through the magic of the priest, it becomes the actual blood and body of Christ. So you are broken. Your life is fragmented. You can't put the pieces back together. You're wounded, and you drink the Eucharist and eat the bread. You take the Eucharist and you eat it in the sense of the metaphor, the way it was acted in the past. Not so much now, we've lost that. But it was the actual, there was a transformation, a transubstantiation there, that in the alchemy of the act, you became healed, and all the broken pieces, the broken bread was put back together in you. Now, the way I understand this is that the alchemy of the Eucharist is the creation of discovery of a single idea that heals your fragmented mind or your inability to make a choice. So it's very simple. When we're in a conflict, we can't choose this or that because both have equal weight. Should I go with this person or that? Oh, I don't know. And if I go there, this one pulls me back, and if I go here, this one pulls me back. Anybody who has to choose a romantic partner, and you got two, you know that dilemma. You know you can't choose because they both have merit. Well, then, if you were able to get the Holy Grail and drink the Holy Grail, there would be the birth of a single idea, which you would become and know what to do. You would know, we all have this experience. I know what I have to do. I'll go this way. There's no more choice. When you know what to do, you don't have to choose what to do. You just do it. You see, so that is the idea of the, for me, of the Holy Grail as a metaphor that heals the division of the mind. So you know who you are, you know what to do, you have no more doubts or confusion, and you move straight ahead. You see. So it's kind of like that, and I hope that people can understand where I come from, because this is a very important way to think. Because otherwise, we're literalists, and you say, well, for instance, the MacIver principle. I love that MacIver. It became, it's been brought back, and MacIver basically is always in a fix. And he needs something to get out of the fix. He needs a knife, so he grabs the stir for the martini thing, and he uses that as a knife or a weapon or something to get out of the fix. A literalist will say, well, you can't use that. That's just for stirring martinis. You can't use it for anything else. That's what it's supposed to be used for. So that's what you call a literalist. Everything has got its name and place, and you can't mix them up. Well, for me, the metaphor of the martini is that when you drink the Holy Grail, you activate the MacIver principle, and you can use what's ever handy to get yourself out of a fix. You connect dots, and you get a bigger idea. You get insights. You can see what you couldn't see before. You take the narrow lens off and put on a wide angle, and you see beyond your boundaries that you thought were the end of the world. See, so it's all about liberating us from boundaries and from being literalists and fundamentalists in our thinking, and to liberate our imagination and to liberate our soul, and that's all wrapped up in the joy of in the metaphor of the martini, you see. Okay, so join me again at 5 o'clock, and we'll look into. Next time I'll be sitting at my computer where I usually spend my day, and we'll be at 5 o'clock, and have a drink with me, or a glass of wine, or if you want a martini, then. You don't shake them up, you stir them. And my uncle taught me to use gin. I don't care what kind, because when you put it with the vermouth, it's all pretty much the same. So mix them with 2 very large shots of gin and a quarter shot of dry vermouth. And you stir it up. And he liked a lemon twist, and that's always amusing to me, because everything has a lemon twist to it, you know what I mean? So anyway. Thank you for joining in, and hope to see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And you're off.